All right, everybody, let's get to work on this bag we just talked about. Welcome back. I hope everybody's doing well and everybody's healthy. I'm your host, Oprah Winfrey, and we are going to build this bag. And we're going to start with our start file right here, which is just a bag on the cyclorama. Although I think the cyclorama I gave you is kind of lame. They fixed that a little bit. Regardless, let's get going. First thing we have to do is we have to color this bag this sort of weird yellow. And Platters is our client, and they're kind of prickly. They have some certain ideas they want us to follow. So you should have this file right here. It has this little bag. I'm going to turn that little bleeping off because it has the bag layer, which is a smart object layer, by the way, and that cyclorama that we've been using all semester. And hopefully you can, yeah, there we go. All right, so let's go to the bag layer. Let's click on that. And we actually need two bag layers. So it says bag one, and I'm going to Command J that layer and make a copy. And I'm going to name this one bag two. Okay. Maybe we could try that. Bag two. All right, so you should have two bag layers. We're going to turn off bag two. We don't need it quite yet. We're going to use it later, but we'll just make it now. All right, so bag one, this guy right here, we need to color him, and we're going to do that with a gradient overlay. So double click over here on the right in the gray area right there somewhere and bring up our layer stylized box. And we need to click a gradient overlay. I have two for some reason, so I'm just going to delete that one. Oh, there we go. Gradient overlay. There it is. So we're going to use that, and we need to set up the gradient. Now the gradient is going to be, I don't know, what was it? Did I use normal? Let's find out real quick. Sorry about that. Gradient overlay. Yeah, it's set to normal. Interesting. All right, so back here, back on our bag, let's go back to gradient overlay. Not that one. We're going to make that one. Okay, so click on gradient overlay there. And we are going to set this up. I'm going to click on it. There we go. And we're going to set it to normal. So normal up there. And we're going to set the opacity to 100%. All right. And you can see that is going to work for us. And let's not set it to reflected. Let's set it to linear. All right. So we're going to get that effect. Okay. And now we need to add the colors to this. And let's also set the scale to 100, just right off the bat. All right, now let's set up the colors. We need to do those colors. So click right there on the gradient, color itself, that little guy right there. And we are going to get the gradient editor. Now we're not going to pick one. We're actually going to make one, and we're going to do that. That happens down here. So we're going to make a couple colors. So the first thing we got to do is set those colors up. So click this first gradient stop here at the bottom, this little guy right here. All right, and you're going to get the editor and click on this little color square right here. And we are going to set up our first color, and I'll give you the RGB numbers. The RGB numbers are 246 for red, 163 for green, and 37 for blue. And that gets us this kind of orangish looking color here. All right, so now we have one color. We have another color over here, which we're not going to use. But let's set up our third color. If you click anywhere below the color here, the color bar, it'll put a new stopper in right there. And you can grab that stopper and slide it left and right. But click on it because we're going to change the color. So click on that guy, back to the color box here, and we're going to add a new RGB value. And the middle RGB value is 212 for red, 102 for green, and 20 for blue. And we get a darker orange. So we got this light orange over here, and then it gradients into this darker orange. But we want it to gradient again back to that light orange. So we're going to steal this color right here. But before we do that, we have to get rid of this white one over here. We could always edit it again, but if you want to get rid of it, just click on it and drag it off. And it goes away. That's how you get rid of color stoppers. But let's copy this one. If you hold down your Alt key and click on it, you can drag out a copy of it. And we're going to, whoa, come on, get over there. It almost went. And we're going to go all the way over there to the right. Maybe. Come on. There it goes. How many do I have? Let me try that again, everybody, because that was lame. Okay. drag it over again. Let me see how far I get. There it goes. Nice. Hope everybody got that. So now I have the two same stoppers on the other end and the dark one in the middle. That's what you should have. And click OK. And there's our gradient. You can sort of see it on our packaging already. Although now that we put the gradient on there, we lost all those great folds and highlights and everything that makes the package look like a package. We're going to get back to that. We'll figure that out in a while. But this is kind of what you should be having. And let's use an angle of about 170. Let's go about 172. It's gonna sort of wash from the center toward this left side just a little bit. All right. So you should have something that looks exactly like that. All right, we're not done yet though. We need to add this sort of inner glow a little bit to help us out. So before you click off that, go to inner glow right there, and click on that and click the name so you can work on it. Okay, and that pink is not going to help us. That pink is from when we did the sign last week. So let's change the color. So click on the color box right there, and we're going to change the RGB values for it. So red is going to be 123, 155 for blue, and 0. There's no way that's the right color value. 123, is it 55? Maybe it's 55. That's better. It's 55. 123, 55, 0. Okay, so that's pretty good. Let's crank the opacity down to about, let's leave it up for a minute so we can see it. Let's set the choke to, we got to get it in there a little bit. How about, say, the choke at about 14 or 15, and the size to, let's crank this up just a little bit. We got to see some, what if we went all the way to, I don't know, let's go in the 60 area. How about that? 50 is good. All this stuff is good here. Opacity, we're going to need to crank the opacity down. Let's bring it down quite a bit. It's got to be more of an idea than it is actually so brazen. How about if we keep the opacity down to, what if we do it at 35? If you turn it off and on, you can kind of see how it's helping us define that box packaging, or that packaging, just a little bit. All right, so let's go over that again. 35 for opacity. You got your color picked. Choke 15, size 59, and the rest of this by default should be good. I'll give you that color range again. 123, 55, 0. Or there's the hexadecimal number there if you want that. All right. All right, so that, everybody, is the beginning of this bag. It's already looking pretty good. And we've only got one layer going. We have a smart object layer going, but nonetheless, not bad. All right, so we're going to stop right here. When we come back, we're going to start putting on all this graphic art on the top of the bag. And then in our third deal, we're going to put all the sort of creases and highlights back in the bag so it looks like an actual bag. Alrighty, that's good for now. Come back. I'll see you in a few minutes.